Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And that means it is time. So that's Saturday, the 8th of March. Somebody asked me once to put the date on when I introduced it, and I keep forgetting to do that. I'm just like, y'all must be with me. If you're watching, you know what day it is, but it's true. I do need to say that better. So here we go. I see my arm moving, so that's a very good sign. Hello, Marva. I appreciate you coming. I hope you're having a very good weekend so far. We are having some lovely spring weather. It could bring a little bit of storms tomorrow or the next day, but I guess that's spring in the south. So far, the pine trees have not caught up, so that's good. We don't have yellow pine all over everything yet, so we're in the sweet spot. It's spring, the things are blooming, but we don't have pine pollen yet. Hey, Judy. Hi, Rosie. Hello, Louise and Mary and Becky. Hello, 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 everybody. What is CAS? In this case, it is clean and simple. So here is a little talk about acronyms. So CAS usually means clean and simple. Case with the E on it means copy and pay and share everything. All right, so basically that is our license to copy things, all right? And so we have CAS and case. CAS, case, CAS, case. This is a CAS card that I hope you'll case. See what I did there? Okie doke. All right, I do want to have two public service announcements. First of all, when you go to bed tonight, don't forget to pop those clocks forward so that your coffee maker matches your watch or your phone when you get up. It's very disorienting when they are different and you don't know which one is exactly right, especially if you can't remember whether you set it or not. So try to set your microwave forward this morning and your coffee maker. And the second is a little scheduling note that this will be the last video until the Thursday after next, so 17, 18, 19, like the 20th, okay? So whatever the Thursday is a week from this Thursday, that will be our next video. I will be out, I leave here on Wednesday and we don't get home till Sunday. So no Zoom the Craft Room this coming Thursday and no live videos on Thursday or Saturday of next week. Now, for those who do come to the Zooms, my intent is to be here for the 2 o'clock Eastern Time Zoom session on Monday. I do have to get my hair cut and it's on the other side of Atlanta, but I should be back in time for that. So I'm planning on meeting up with you then. Okay, so that is it. That is all of the public service announcements that we need to have. Oh, other than the fact that you've got until Tuesday at midnight, basically, to cash in on double peppermints. Thank you, Mary. I am very much looking forward to On Stage. I do think it's going to be awesome. Okay, so I may have said that I was going to try to not go back to textured notes anytime soon, but I lied. I couldn't help it. I had to do it. So I've got textured notes with the wonderful, wonderful dies, and I actually use all 3 of these, or all 4 of these dies. So all the 4 smallest dies will be used on this card, and then elements of text. I can't help it very much. And then, of course, the exposed brick 3D embossing board. I don't know why I said of course, but of course you would want to use it. All right, so let's put that aside. This will all be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't even have to take notes or nothing. I'll give you fair warning. I will be going off screen to do a little bit of cutting as we get going, but that is not going to happen quite yet. Okay, so let me be sure I've got my right piece of cardstock. I'm starting with a piece of basic white that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I've got quite a few of the images. This one is from Textured Notes, and then I've got a bunch of the elements of text images. Now, I was playing with a sketch called from the challenge called Try a Sketch on Tuesday, and so I am going to use this portion of the card front to add my texture. You can see that. You can see there's no stamping over here under these 3 strips. Okay, so I'm just gonna stamp them on this side. And I'm basically gonna use one color. Well, white is a color, sort of, or an absence of color, but gray granite is the tone here. And I have used a gray granite piece of the Woven Textures DSP to go with it. All right, now, there are several pieces in there. There's one that's pecan pie. So I think you could do it and use the pecan pie DSP for your DSP strips and then use pecan pie for the remainder of the card front. I think that might be kind of cool. Okay, but we're going to go with gray granite because I like it. Gene, let's see. I really want to go. Couldn't because I'm going to New Orleans with my son's high school band. Well, you do have to go with your son. That is a big deal. I hope you guys have a really, really good trip. All right, so we're going to use a couple of these. Most of them are going to be in Stamped Off Once gray granite. Okay, because we're really just adding some texture. I'm going to try my darndest to not stamp this upside down. And I did also do one time with this one in the full strength gray granite. Okay, you can see it's not a huge difference, but it's a little. So now let's go ahead and change up. Maybe we'll use a couple of splatters. Every time you do this, it's going to be different, right? You don't have to make it the same exactly way as mine. Let's get this one out because it's fun. I like it too. You're kind of just grunging it up here, right? And then we'll see about this other splatter. And I think we want one. Let's do one splatter in full strength, shall we? Okay. Maybe two. We'll do one down here like this. There we go. Oop, got a gap. Don't want any gaps. I want no gaps. Okay, there we go. What do you guys think? Is that enough? I kind of think it's enough. I like it. All right. So I'm going to get these out of the way, and I'm going to close this. Now, I'm going to go off screen for one of the multiple times I will do that today, and I am going to emboss this panel in the exposed brick 3D. Now, for those of you who don't know it, there's a line across the bottom of all of our Stampin' Up! Embossing folders, and that's the straightness register, if you will. If you happen to have something like the bricks, even though they're exposed and kind of rough looking and vintage, they are parallel to that line. So if you want to have your image straight in your on your embossing, what you do is you line up your cardstock with that line. See how I've done that? That tells me I'm going to have straight embossing across there. Okay, so I shall be right back. I'll be back. I'll be back in a moment. This is music. All right. Okay. Now, our next thing is to take our 3 pieces of the Woven Textures DSP, and I just cut them about 5 1/8 inch long, and I cut them right after the other, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. So I'm going to try to find that back. I'm going to try to put them back together, okay? Because I kind of want them together. Let's see what we get here. That looks right. Does it really matter if you mess it up? No, probably not. Probably not. Although the only thing that I think would make a difference is if you get those lined up weirdly. All right, let's get this fixed here. Come on. Okay. I think that might be good right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so here's my tip. Because it's really hard to make everything exactly 5/8 of an inch, 5 1/8 of an inch, 5 inches and 1/8, 5 1/8 inches. That was the third try I had to try to make that right. Here's what I did. I used liquid glue to adhere them, and I lined the top up real solid and then made it straight, okay? And then I cut at the bottom. So you can see I have left this one a little long. I didn't see much point in getting too head up about it. But what you want to do is you want to pick one end or the other to line up and then keep it that way, because can you see how these little guys, especially with a pattern like this, you can see how the wefts and the weaves and the ups and the downs of the weaving are all matched there, okay? So, I mean, if you don't want to worry about it, don't worry about it, but I kind of liked it. What are we missing? Could not do it. They had to do some other kind of tests, but did not like the results. Ooh, that doesn't sound very much fun. Hopefully, I guess I might have missed. Did you have to do your MRI? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to use liquid glue. I had to have a Valium to have an MRI. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to adhere this at the top. And pretty close to the edge of the card front. Okay. Let's be sure I've got this right. Okay, I've got it. Now we'll grab the next piece. I think it's this one. If you're not sure, just go back and double check that it makes sense when you put it together. Now I'm still going to have a little gap there, but you'll be able to see that the pattern is carrying over. Carry on my city. I don't even know the words to that song. Carry on my favored son. Is that right? No, maybe not. Okay, and then the last piece will be right there, and that looks lined up. This is why you do this before you put it on the card on the mat. All right, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to trim the excess, and you do want to be able to trim the excess. Okay, so we'll make sure that's straight. This doesn't look exactly straight. Okay, I'm just looking to see that my gap is about the same all the way. Okay, so you can see I have it lined up at the top and not at the bottom. So I'm just going to take my tweezers, carry on my wayward, there it is. Okay, I'm just going to use my snips and snip that end off. Okay, that's how you get you get lined up on the top and the bottom. Okay, all right, now I'm going to. Hey, Lenny, appreciate you coming. Yeah, I was going to say, don't they have an open MRI for you, Shirley? That seems like the right way to go. Okay, so let's set this aside, and now we're going to make our centerpiece. Let me be sure I'm not using, okay, this is long, so this is the one I want to use. Okay, so we're going to have our textured notes, and we're going to start with this die right here. So that is not the smallest. It's not the next or the second, it's the third, okay? It's the third from the smallest. So I just want to be sure I have room there, and I do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this large leaf from Textured Notes. Oh, I guess that's valid. There will be peace one day, a sun, later we're here to rest, don't you cry no more. Girl, you got it. You got it. You know those words good, don't you? Okay. So now I'm just going to stamp this, and I've got the die in place just so that I kind of get the stamp, because I'm kind of cutting it close with my cardstock, right? Okay, so that's full strength gray granite. Now we're getting ready to do a couple of trips off, okay? I'm going to cut this just like this with this die. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And I am using a sticky note so that it stays in place and is as straight as I can make it with my crookedy eyeballs. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. So there is our first die cut. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take the next smallest die and cut this out, kind of centering the edge of the die between the stitching, okay? Need an onstage in New England. Well, that was the Raleigh one. That was as close as they were going to get. You know what? I need a new sticky note. All right, let's go ahead and put this on so you can see what I'm doing. I'm cutting the middle out. Okay, so I'll be right back. Yep, on stage is a big deal. We do love our in-person events, so kind of like Scarlett O'Hara when she vowed she would never be hungry again. We're kind of like, we will never miss an in-person event again, because we had several years, thanks to COVID, that we had to do everything virtually. Okay, so now I have this frame left, and then I have this middle, and I'm going to do one more cut. Okay, this is a card of many cuts, but it's easy because it's all good. All right, now we're going to take the next smallest die, which is, it's got kind of a rattan frame. I'm going to cut out the middle one last time. And it'll help you to use sticky notes or something to keep it straight in the die, so that you're straight and getting a straight frame. Okay, so I'll be right back. All right, there we go. I know, Janice, aren't they just the best? I hope these last a long, long time. All right, we're going to set that aside. I'll have to go one more time for the sentiment, but that's it for right now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to stack these up kind of like, hey, Glenda. Oh, no, your house burned down. Oh, my gosh. That's terrible. Goodness gracious. I'm so sorry to hear that. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to adhere these back onto the card front. And it'll help if you can get the leaf to look the same as it did when you cut it up. Just throwing that out there. All right, but you're going to get kind of a telescoping look. So to begin with, I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere this, this first one. I do standing for sure to do all my die cutting. Sometimes when I'm making a reel, I will stand for a little bit of it just so that I can kind of make sure I'm seeing the right thing. But for the most part, I do sit when I'm doing this part right here. I have never perfected standing while stamping and doing all of that. I suppose if I made a standing desk, I would figure it out. But so far, I have not done that. Okay, so we're just going to straighten that up. And this is going to go pretty much in the center between this edge of the DSP and that edge of the card front. Well, actually, that's not even true. In the center of the card front. Looks better, doesn't it? Okay. So there we go. Now, the next layer is going to be with dimensionals. So I'm going to put some dimensionals around the edge of this die. Probably not that big one right there. Okie dokie. So we're going to put a couple in each corner. Okay. So if there is a persnickety piece at all, it's this part right here. Because you don't want to be able to see your dimensionals, but you want them to support the frame. So I just put a couple on each side, and it does help if you cut your dimensionals in half. If you aren't used to doing that, then certainly for this one I would do that, because it makes it, well, you couldn't put a full one on here. You could put a mini, you could put minis on here, but my fingers and minis just simply don't work. All right, so I'm trying to be good and put my dimensional covers in the little dish. I want you guys to think I'm a tidy stamper when in fact I am not a tidy stamper at all. I'm a bit of a hot mess stamper. Is that a category? Bit of a hot mess? Okay, so I don't see any covers left. Let's be sure I'm putting it on right side up. That's not it. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, now you're going to want to put that so it's right inside that other rectangle. Just like that. Okay. All right. Now, obviously, we got to have double stack for this one, right? Because it's got to get up above that that first layer. We'll take off these lids. Thanks, Rosie. Oh, wait, there's one. There's one left. Okay. All righto. And then put our double stack on. See, this is why it's good that y'all are used to me using double stacks, because you know what that means. You know what it means. You're not like, what? But that's what it means. Two stacked up together. Just almost exactly like it sounds. All right, here we go. Make sure we put it on right side up, and then just center it again in that opening. Okay, and you can see the little leaves all line right up. It's very, very simple. A little extra depth to your card front. Aw, Shirley, that's really sweet. Very nice of you. All right, I'm gonna take and make a simple bow with some gray granite twine. And let's be sure it's going to be big enough, because we're going to need to put our sentiment over it. Yep, that'll work just fine. And I am going to use a little bit of liquid glue, because that's kind of how I roll. You could use a glue dot here if that is more your jam. And then we're going to adhere that like so. And while it is drying, we're going to make our sentiment. Okay, so let's see. That's an envelope. I really don't need to be cutting that. That would be bad. All right, I'm going to take a little note of appreciation, one of my favorite sentiments ever. I really think that's amazing. It's an amazingly good sentiment. And I'm going to stamp it on basic white in full strength gray granite. And then I'm going to put a sticky note so that I can cut that. Okay, I'll be right back. This is the last time. Last time I got to go off screen, I promise. I promise. I mean, you know, unless I mess it up, and then I may have to go back again. I think I got lucky. I got lucky. Okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, this is not the best die set on the planet ever. All right, now I am going to take some dimensionals and put them right here on this top sentiment layer, okay? And then you can do a double stack on the next one down. I'm not getting all into this on the blog, because it just depends on where you put everything, right? Okay. If you need dimensionals, if you need an extra dimensional, what is the name and number of the dies? Okay, the dies are textured notes. And I do not know the item number, but it's called Textured Notes. So it's part of a bundle, but you can buy them separately if you like. And we're going to put that second dimensional there, and we're going to have one dimensional. We should only need one dimensional there. Yep, that lines up. See what I was looking at there? Here we go. You see how I've got a double stack here, and that makes it even with that single stack that's on the top rectangle. So just take a look and use the number of dimensionals that you need, okay? And then I'm going to use my tweezers. Thanks, Faith. Appreciate that. We're going to, you know what I should do? Let me adhere to my card, my mat real quick. Then I can see, and I'm actually going to go ahead and also adhere to my card front because that will let me be sure I get my sentiment inside the confines of my card base, if you will. Okay. And then our card base is going to be like so. And then we can put our sentiment on. Our sentimente. Okay, here we go. I'm not really making much of an effort to go off of the mat, but I want to be sure that I'm not off of my card base. Okay, so I'm just holding it in place, and then we can put that like so. Now, if you'd like to support that end, that's a great idea, but there you go. You can case this CAS card, absolutely. I hope you will. All right, I'm gonna make a triple stack. Yes, you heard me, a triple stack of dimensionals to support out here because I'm pretty high off the ground there. All right. So remember what I always say, it's paper, people. Make it do what you need it to do. Okay, so I'm just going to slide one triple stack under there, and that'll give it a little bit of support. Now, to finish off, I'm going to use some of the new neutral matte dots, and I'm going to use white ones. White ones are good. White ones are always good. And then I'm just going to put one on the sentiment and a couple out here. And I think that's going to get it done right there. And that is our card front, y'all. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put it on right now. I'll just take a risk. And oh, you know what I did? Because I have so many layers already, I did this with liquid glue. I did not use dimensionals to put this on. The basic gray is this is gray granite, and it is a little bit somber. But I liked how it turned out. I liked it. You could try this with pecan pie. There is a DSP in the Woven Textures pack that is a pecan pie weave, and you could use all pecan pie ink, and that would be kind of fun. I think that would be kind of fun. This needs to be picked up and straightened just a little bit. Okay, so there's our card front. Now, on the innards, for the innards, to be sure I'm grabbing my correct piece. Yep, 5 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to first stamp my large leaf. Thanks, Jean. It takes a second to figure it out, but once you do and your hands become accustomed to them, you'll never go back. All right, I'm going to stamp my leaf once, and then I'm going to stamp it in Stamped Off once next to it, like so. And let me do my envelope right quick since I have him out, so that way I won't have to get him out again. My leaves, like that. And then we're going to add just a few of the ums. Diddy-dum, diddy-dum, dim-dum, dum-dum, dum-dum. Mostly I'm using the splatters. I was just double checking. And we're going to do Stamped Off once. Gray granite. Like so. And we'll do it on our envelope. Oh, even using the dimensional cover collector, there's plenty on the ground, I promise. I mean, I make it with like 80% of them, but they've got so much static electricity always that it's really hard And they do go on the floor. There's just no way around it. They fly and stuff. It would make a very good sympathy card. It absolutely would. All right. Or it would be a good masculine thank you card, I think. All right. Now I'm going to use a couple more of these white matte dots in here. They're pretty thin, so it's not going to do any badness to them. There we go. So there's our card. And then I'm going to put some more of the DSP on the envelope flap. In gray, yeah. Actually, Finn is going with us. Wayne is going with me, and we're bringing Finn along. We have a room at the Residence Inn, which is pet friendly. He won't get to go to on stage proper, but he will certainly be there for pizza night, and he'll be there to see the team. So he'll get plenty of pettings. And he'll enjoy. He likes going to the hotels. He likes the moving room. You know what the moving room is? That's what he calls the elevator. He doesn't know why that's doing what it's doing, but it's a room that moves, so he's good with it. As long as we're in it with him, he's happy. All right, so there you go, guys. A little thank you card. And you could certainly change up the sentiment to make it a sympathy card if you like. I think that would be that would be good as well. All right, so just remember, y'all, I'll be on my Zoom on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. There will not be a Zoom or a YouTube video on Thursday next, and there will not be a video on Saturday, a week from today. All right, and then I'll be back in the saddle on Monday after that. Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend and a good week. And don't forget those clocks. Ta.